Okay, so we're going to kick things off here. I'd like to thank everybody for attending. My name is Brian Mull. I am the Marketing and Talent Acquisition Director for Critical Design Associates. And today I'm excited to bring a webinar that we have featuring Ivanti ISM with Extraction. And really what we're doing today is we're using Ivanti's ISM platform to show the power of the reporting in Ivanti Xtraction. So a little bit about each one of these. ISM is Ivanti's IT Service Manager platform. It's a help desk solution, service desk, service management. And Extraction provides enhanced reporting, business intelligence, and it has multiple connectors. And what I want to let you know is what you're about to see today, we're using Ivanti's ISM as a base platform to show this, but it connects into a number of other platforms. So here's just a list of some of the other software suites that extraction reporting can be used in conjunction with. So if you like what you see today, definitely reach out and email me, and I will connect you with the right people at our company to get you what you need to get the answers to your questions. So today's agenda, I'm kicking things off for the first 5 minutes here as everybody gets situated, and then I'm going to turn the presentation over to Bill Davidson, and he's gonna do his presentation, and then we're gonna do an interactive question and answer session at the end. And I'm encouraging everybody to use the question and answer function with the meeting software. Participation is encouraged. I am going to mute everybody during the presentation so that we don't interrupt Bill's flow. But feel free to plug those questions into the Q&A box, and I'll make sure that I save them for the end of the session. So on the call, on our line today, of course, our host, I'm Brian Mull, the marketing director, and our presenter is Bill Davidson. He's our senior consultant. And from our support team, we've got Todd Prokop. He's our account manager. And then Susan Lewis, she's our marketing coordinator. And, why CDA? Why should we be the organization to present you this information today? Well, I'm glad you asked. We were just named New Partner of the Year by Ivanti. And we gained this status through successful professional services engagements for User Workspace Manager, UWM, also known as AppSense, Endpoint Manager, and IT Service Management. And a little bit about our company. We're founded in 2001. Our office is headquartered in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, but we have a presence all throughout the East Coast and throughout Texas. The customers that I would say we primarily focused on are Fortune 1000 companies. That's really where our sweet spot is. Companies with 1,000 employees or more. Not to say we don't work with smaller organizations, because we do, but we really hit our stride with the larger organizations. The core services that we offer today, consulting, managed services, staffing. For the verticals, financial, healthcare, energy, oil and gas, manufacturing, legal, education, and retail. And in 2019, our practice areas that we focus on are application delivery and packaging, endpoint management, cybersecurity, regulatory compliance. And in the last year, we really started rolling out our IT service management and IT asset management practice. Now, I should note that we are a service-based organization, so we are not sales-based. There is far more engineers on our team than there are salespeople, and the clients that we work with really appreciate that. And we also invest heavily on our people, which leads me to our next slide. The real pillars of success with critical design are our focus on people, process, and platform. And without a doubt, the people in our organization are our most valuable asset. And we train, we cross-train, we go to web seminars, conferences. We're constantly developing our skill set. And that's so that we can consult and provide the best processes, because ultimately businesses are coming to us because they have a challenge that they need to solve. And we come up with a process that marries it with the right platform. And all three of these are a symbiotic relationship that just creates our success. We also follow a proven methodology where we start with a project analysis, we move into a design solution, then design a solution, we build the solution, we test, and then we deploy to a live environment. This is a list of some of the deep dive on some of the services that are focal areas that I mentioned earlier. I'm not going to go through these all right now, but this is just more of what we do. And Here's a list of some of the partners that we provide value-added services and we resell for as well. So I'm ready to get started here. I'm going to turn the screen share over to our presenter, Bill Davidson. And Bill, if you want to take it from here, it's all yours.
Well, hi, everybody. Bill Davidson here with Critical Design Associates. I'd like to be the second person to welcome you to our webinar today. A little bit about me. I'm currently a senior consultant for CDA, but prior to this, I worked for Ivanti, actually hired by Front Range Solutions, which then became Heat Software, and then eventually Ivanti. I was the senior support analyst for 8 years on our ITSM 567X products, and also as ISM. And I was senior consultant for another 3 years. So I've worked with a lot of customers, and it's given me some valuable insights into different points of view that people have from both support and from the consulting side. Now, why would you use Xtraction? You know, Xtraction is a web-based application, and it provides the ability for a user to create dashboards and documents and schedule reporting for all the Ivanti applications as well as other applications. And we can display documents and dashboards, things like that, from several different applications at once. And Xtraction really doesn't require very much overhead. Xtraction is provided free of charge to Ivanti customers, and you get 2 licenses with that. And Xtraction, one of the things that you can do with that is you can consolidate your reports into a single interface to simplify the requirements that you have. I may have forgotten to mention Xtraction is free for Ivanti customers with 2 licenses. If you discover that you need more licenses than that, your sales representative can help you with any additional licensing requirements and costs. I'm showing something that was mentioned earlier, and that is the Ivanti interfaces with Xtraction. These are just a bunch of the products that we do interface with right off the bat. Example of a dashboard ISM report that we have available right out of the box. So where can you get Xtraction? Well, you can download that at the community download site, and then connectors and licensing are available at the licensing portal, which is portalivanti.com. In the community site, we have a number of videos that provide really excellent information about Xtraction, and additional training is available through the Global Academy. If you were taking a look at our site here for our community, then you'd see with the search on Xtraction videos, a whole lot of different videos that are available that go step by step through various details of Xtraction and how you can use Xtraction. If we look at our licensing portal, we'll see that we have the Ivanti connector for Xtraction, and you get 2 licenses for Xtraction right off the bat. And it's fighting me just a little bit here. Sorry about that. There we go. So what we're going to do today is we're going to try to help you get set up with Xtraction, an initial setup that will allow you to utilize Xtraction with ISM, and we'll actually be bringing in another application so you can see how that might work. We're going to be mapping the service accounts that you use to the database. We'll configure the data model and Xtraction. We'll take a look at some dashboards, create a new dashboard, and schedule a report using the dashboards that we create. Our environment, we have an EPM server, ISM production and development server, an Xtraction server. Everything is tied together with SQL 2016. The first thing we want to do is take a look at the accounts for Xtraction. There are actually 2 accounts that are required for Xtraction. The first is a read-write account. We'll use that with the Xtraction database. The second account is a read-only account that we'll be mapping into the databases for the other products that we're going to be looking at. So let's take a quick look at that. In our SQL Server, we've set up Xtraction or security for our application here with our read-write account. If we take a look at the properties, we'll see that we're going to map this to the extraction database. We've given it data reader, data writer, and DB owner privileges. Our other account is our extraction read-only account, and that account is being mapped to our Heat SM database. Heat SM is the traditional database for Ivanti Service Management, and here you can see that we've mapped it as a data reader. Also LDMS, which is the database we use for EPM, endpoint management. Again, data reader. The nice thing about this is that you can be assured that since we only have reader privileges with this account, we're never going to infringe upon any kind of data that's in those databases. The next thing that we want to do is load our Ivanti connector and set that up. There are a number of different things that we'll go through, and just to mention to you, this slideshow will be available to you, so you'll be able to review that, and also the video will be made available to you. We do appreciate your participation today. So in order to take care of our data connector, we'll log on to our extraction server. We're going to go to our data model editor. Takes just a second. We'll notice that we've downloaded here our licenses that we'll need. We've got the Ivanti connector, or extraction connector for Ivanti, and we've gone ahead and unzipped that connector folder so we can see some things that are in there. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to take the combined DAT file here, and we're going to put that in our extraction software folder in data configuration. You can see I've copied that file over to here. So now when we log in, we're going to open that data connector. We expand that, take a look at the data sources. Here you can see that variety of things that we have for connections to all the different Ivanti products. Now what we'll do is we're going to actually uncheck the active status on the products that we don't use. We do that by double clicking and simply unchecking the active status. Then what we'll do is go to Tools and take a look at our connection strings. So for each of our connection strings, you see here, for example, for Endpoint Manager, which is something we will be using, we'll just scroll over here and we'll set this up, and we'll use the server name for our SQL server, and we'll select the database, a user ID, and I'll show you this in a little more detail in just a minute, and a password. The last thing that we're going to do is we'll go to our tools and we'll take a look at the URL editor. And here what we'll want to do is we'll want to enter the URLs that correspond to Endpoint Manager. You can see that there are several, and we'll just take the URL for, or the host name for our server for Endpoint Management, and also down here for Service Management. And we'll do a find and replace so that we can take the placeholder that's in there, which is represented right here. We'll just copy that, do a find and replace, and we'll replace that with the server name. And once we've done all those things, what we're going to do is go ahead and do a file and save. In this case, I don't need to save it. I've already taken care of this, and we'll show that in just a minute. So I'm going to log back in to the data before we do that. So once we do that, we want to go out again to our extraction installation. And here what we want to do in our configuration folder is we're going to rename that data model.dat, which is the original data model that came with the product, into, say, data model.old. And we'll take our Ivanti combined and rename that to data model, because that will be the default connector that Xtraction uses. We've made our changes in the Ivanti combined DAT file, so we want to make sure that we rename that so that it will find that data. If I log back in and take a quick look at our data model editor, in this case, we'll open our data model.dat, which is that, again, renamed Ivanti combined DAT file. We'll take a look at our data sources. And here you can see that I have the Ivanti Endpoint Manager mapped and active, and Ivanti Service Manager mapped and active. If I take a look at the connection strings, you can see where I have replaced the endpoint management with a server name for endpoint management. I've done the same thing with Ivanti Service Manager. And if we take a look at the URLs from tools, you'll see that I've replaced the server names for each of the placeholders for those applications. By using find and replace all, it will find everything and take care of it in one shot for you. So now we've configured the data model. The next thing that we need to do is configure the settings for Xtraction. And we're going to do that in the Xtraction settings application. We've got several steps that we're going to go through to do that. So here, we'll just open the Xtraction settings. I can tell you, I'm very excited about this product. The thing that I think is one of the greatest features about it is that you can take care of creating dashboards, which you can use as reports for a number of different applications that Ivanti provides. And you can do that all from one interface, and you can even show that combined information in a single dashboard, for example. And when you first log into here, you may need to import your license. And your license, again, you'll get from our licensing portal, the Ivanti licensing portal. We'll have the Xtraction license and the data model editor license. So when you log in and you see that that's not checked, you'll simply load those licenses corresponding to Xtraction or data model. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create and update that database. And here you can see we're using the Xtraction read-write connector. And if you've just loaded the shell of the database, say you've created an Xtraction shell, then you'll do the update database here. The next thing that you'll want to do is go to the features. And here, what we're going to do is append, and we will choose our Endpoint Manager dashboards. We'll open that, we'll import it. Once we've done that, we'll go back and again, appending, we'll go ahead and use the Ivanti Service Management dashboards. And once we've done that, we'll be ready to actually take a look at Xtraction. I'd like to go ahead and see, do we have any questions that have come up to this point?
No questions as of yet, Bill. Yeah, I think you can keep moving forward.
Okay, good. I think I did want to show you one other thing when we were in our data model editor. Whoops. We'll need to open up again our data model. And let's go ahead and look at the connection string editor. And I wanted to show you this real quick. Here you can see that we have set up our LDMS database, which is EPM. We're using our extraction read-only user ID here. And the same thing with our ISM connector. Our connection again is extraction read-only. All right, skipped past that without showing you. So now what we'd like to do is take a look at some of the dashboards that come with extraction. Here, what we're going to do is go ahead and log into extraction. If I get a little bit ahead of myself here, I am excited about this product. Sometimes I get going a little bit quickly. So just about there. So when you log into extraction, we'll get to take a look at a few things here. So we're in our home page. And if I take a look at some things, you can see in our share folders here that we have brought in items from Ivanti Service Management and Ivanti EPM or Endpoint Management. And those items are categorized. There are a number of different dashboards here. For example, we have devices and computers. We click on that and take a look at some of the devices that we have. We might want to take a look at the ISM dashboards. So for change management, for example. You see a very rich collection, very colorful. I love it. Take a look at incident management. Here's our open incidents reports. Active VIP incidents. Well, maybe we want to take a look at service request dashboards. As you can see, it's a very nice presentation with a very rich collection of dashboards. Now, there might be some things that you want to do. Let's suppose that you want to take an existing dashboard, but there are some changes that you might want to make to that dashboard. We can go over here to this is our dashboard icon. And let's say that we want to open something that we might want to make a change to. So here you could open a dashboard, and you can always do a file and save as a copy. Just give it a new name and figure out where you want to put it. Save it. And now that dashboard is saved so that you can go in and edit it if you wish to. The other thing that you might want to do is say, let's be able to say delete a dashboard, for example. So we could pick the dashboard that we wanted to delete, and we're able to delete that dashboard. But now we want to create a new dashboard. So let's do that real quick and to show you how easy it is to create a dashboard with some of the standard parts that we have. You can go back to the dashboard icon for the dashboard designer. We'll go ahead and do File and New. And we're presented with different options about that layout that we might want to use. The default layout is a 1/2, but I think what I'll do here is do a 2/2 dashboard. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a name. Okay, that. And now let's take some components and drop them in and see what we might get. So let's take a list component from our endpoint manager. We get a list of our servers here. And we can select, say, our data source for Ivanti Service Management, choose incidents. And now we can grab a list component from there, maybe a record list. Take a look at a time component. Maybe we'll do a bar chart to show time of incidents. Maybe we'd rather see that as a column, so we can simply choose a different column, a different dashboard, and that will show our columns. We'll go back to endpoint management, and maybe we'll pick computers here. And how do we want to show that? Oops, we'll choose that one. It's a little more complex. Well, time components, not a good choice there. That's okay. We'll go ahead and go back to our service management and pick something a little fun there. Let's just show service requests. So now we've created a dashboard with some existing components, and we'd encourage you to go through all of this. Take a look at the dashboards that exist, and also that training that shows you various different components you can utilize. So now I can take this and save this dashboard if I want to, and we've created a dashboard. Just pick a folder to put that in. So the ease that you can create dashboards is really nice. Love it. As you can see, I've created another dashboard here, my first dashboard. And let's take a look at that dashboard just for a minute. We go into edit mode. I want to show you something we've done here. In this particular one, I'm showing incidents as well as service requests. And how might we do that? Well, you can see that in the components, the first thing that I did is I loaded a component for incidents. And in that component, in that component, what I've done is given it a 7-day interval using count so that we're displaying the incidents that occur in a 7-day period here. The other thing that I've done is I've gone into that dashboard, properties. And if we look at the other component for service requests, I've done the same thing with that. I've shown a 7-day interval with a count. And that's allowed me to show both of these together. Now, when we created the URLs that we did in setup, we also have the ability to view the records and drill into that. This is kind of neat because from the dashboard, I can go right into an incident, double click on it, and it's going to open up Ivanti Service Management directly. And take me right in to that incident so I can take a look at it. So as you can see, I'm now logged in and I have all the details of that incident available to me, just like I was the service desk analyst working on that. But I was able to get there with just a couple of clicks. You can also do that from, let's take a look at computer. So this time we're logging directly into EPM to take a look at the properties of the computer that we selected. And there we go. So we've drilled directly into that computer and now we can see the various details that make that up. Just go ahead and exit out of that. The next thing that we want to do is we want to see if we can schedule a report using one of the dashboards that we have. So over here, what we're going to do is we'll choose the dashboard that we would like to schedule. Now we have that dashboard open. And if we go over here, we'll see that there is a scheduled dashboard icon. Looks like a little calendar. And from here, we can choose the dashboard that we wish. We can choose a format, a PDF. We can set a schedule so that it can run at various times. And we can do delivery. And we have choices of delivering the extraction server or a file system, which is what I've done. Or we could even deliver it to email, just separating email addresses that we want. Let's see if I can show you how that actual setup works. If we go back to the home icon, I can look at my scheduled tasks. And here, where I've already done this, I'll edit the task and show you in a little more completeness. So I'm going to be exporting this dashboard as a PDF format. I have it set up in schedule to schedule every day. And I've selected to deliver it to a shared file folder that I have. And I've given it a little bit simpler a name, but I'm going to go ahead and append a date stamp to the file name. That way, as I collect reports over time, it'll be a lot easier to see when they were done, track them that way. So once I've scheduled it, I can let it schedule on a daily basis and just run. You can see where I've had it run here. I can edit that task to change any of those features that I want on schedule and delivery. Or I can, let's say we can run it right now. So I'm going to run that task. And we'll take a look at my shared folder and we can see that it's run. And when I open up that report, it's going to break this down and show me the incidents, all of those dashboard choices that I've made. Complete listing of incidents. There's our bar chart that shows our incidents and service requests. There are computers and there are service requests. You get a very nice report out of this. And again, you can select the format that you want. I chose PDF. We're not quite to the conclusion yet. I want to show you a couple of other cool little things that you can do. Again, this is an exciting product. So on my development server here, I've loaded extraction. Just put in the URL for extraction. We'll let it load up. And here, I'm going to create a Warboard real quick. Something that you might want to have in your analysts area so they can have a quick look at what's going on. So here, let's just take Oh, we'll just take this dashboard and the one that we created, and maybe from our shared folders, we'll go ahead and pick from service management, another dashboard. I like this open incidents dashboard pretty well. And we'll just go ahead and drag that down here as well. And now I'm going to set this to a short refresh cycle, let it cycle automatically, and kick it off. We'll just click on the Home tab to minimize that, maximize here. And now you have a Warboard cycling through your dashboards that make it very convenient to show what's going on in your service area, or maybe in another area that you want to display the activities that you have going on in your organization. I really do hope that you've enjoyed the presentation, and I hope that I've given you some good information to help you get started with extraction. There are a lot of questions that can come up with extraction. Certainly, we encourage you to utilize the training facilities that are provided at the Ivanti Academy, as well as some of those films that I showed you that are available in the community website. If you need to get a hold of me, feel free. Bill Davidson at criticaldesign.net. And I'd like to open the floor up now, see if we've got some questions that we can address.
Yes, we do, Bill. The first question is, can you create personalized reports and dashboards without coding?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we didn't have to do any coding in the examples that I gave you. There are some very advanced capabilities for using a SQL-based report designer, but you can take those components and create those for yourself very easily.
Okay. Another question we had is, can multiple people receive scheduled reports?
Yes, you can separate the email, for example. If you want to use that, you can separate that by semicolons and post that. Or in the case, what I was doing was I just set up a shared folder, which I would make available to any of the people that needed to be able to see those reports on an ongoing basis.
Okay, great. And here's another good one. Who handles the dashboards? Is it one admin or multiple?
Well, we provide 2 licenses. So you can have 2 admins, administrators taking care of developing your reports, or 2 report developers taking care of developing your reports. Now, one of the nice things that Ivanti has done is if you create a user that has no rights, then they are able to view the shared dashboards. And that allows them to create things like the Warboard that I did without actually having to be an editor or an administrator in extraction.
Great. Okay. And final question here. What connectors are available for extraction?
Oh,
I guess they were speaking specifically, is there any other connectors to any other ISM solutions besides Ivanti ISM?
oh yeah, as a matter of fact, let me go back and show you that here real quick. So you can see all of these various Ivanti products are available with canned reports for all of them. So if you're using, well, we did EPM, for example. If you're using Environment Manager or the Management Center, if you even want to do reports and extraction itself, all you have to do is set up that data connection and make those active, and those reports will become available for you. And again, they become available if we go take a look here. All those connectors and reports become available. So they'll become available in the shared folder. So if I enable one of those other products, then we'll simply see that as a pull down. And utilizing that, you would be able to select for, say, new. We'll just go ahead and open one we have. But you'd be able to select here the data source. So once you've enabled those connections, and again, you'd map those to the database that we have. So back here, you'd want to map your extraction read-only user to that database. If we wanted to, say, add that to extraction, we'd simply do a data reader for the read-only account, and that'd be all we'd have to do to enable it.
Okay, final question. Does extraction work with ServiceNow?
I'm not aware of, oh, actually, I think we do have a ServiceNow connector, but we'll have to double check on that one. But I do remember that we have a ServiceNow connector and connectors to a lot of other third-party vendor applications.
Okay. Well, that's all we have for today, Bill. So we really appreciate your presentation. And as Bill said, you can feel free to reach out to himself or me. And if any questions, I'm sorry, do you have anything else you want to add, Bill? I didn't want to cut you off there.
Actually, one question that has come up that I'd like to go ahead and address, and that is, well, we have ISM in the cloud. We're using the SaaS solution, and we'd like to connect to that. Well, Ivanti does not provide a direct connection to the ISM database for cloud. But what they will do is they can work with you, and you'll have to check with your sales representative or account manager about setting up a BI server, which gives you that indirect, even though it's going to be in real time. And the reason for that is, again, security. Ivanti wants to make sure that nobody can get directly to your production database. So they create a BI server for you and give you a connector to that.
Okay, very good. Well, that is all the questions we have at the current time. So we thank everybody for attending, and feel free to reach out with any other questions or concerns if you should have any past this webinar. And hope everybody has a great day. Thank you very much.